Yo, Jonathan here. This is the LG OLED evo G3, which might be the most feature-packed and most impressive TV that I have ever seen. Now, I've been stoked to check this TV out ever since it was announced. Pretty much everything about it was calling my name. As a disclaimer, LG did send this out, so it is a sponsored showcase. I do appreciate you watching videos like this to support the channel, and if you're feeling like being awesome, make sure you guys drop a like down below. So this setup behind me, or rather what was here before, was a desk workstation that had been there for the better part of a year. Because things shifted though and the Dolby Atmos space moved, we really didn't have a media or a TV setup, so I couldn't think of a better use case than this. Now the image on this is incredible, and I will touch on that in detail, but outside of that, just aesthetically and design wise, this is beautiful. The LG OLED evo G3 is meant to be wall mounted, so much so that it comes with a specially designed wall mount to help ensure things are as flush as possible. And once you get it on there, this is about as clean as it possibly gets. I will say the cherry on top here is we were able to run both power and HDMI through the wall, so you're left with 0 cables. And if you grab this TV and you're able to do that, I would highly recommend that. So over the past few years, LG has continued to release impressive TV after impressive TV to the point where you kind of wonder, how do they keep leveling things up? But they do. This actually marks 10 years of LG being the world's #1 OLED TV brand, so to see where they ended up here is pretty incredible. With that, I will say the LG OLED evo G3 kind of sets the bar in terms of what you'd want in a TV, whether it's for movies or for gaming. There's a lot of great options, but this is kind of the gold standard. This particular model comes in 4 different sizes: 55, 65, which is what we have, 77, and finally 83 inches if you want to go big. Now, one of the things that makes this TV special and stand out is inside there's an MLA panel, which is short for micro lens array. Fancy tech talk aside, what that does is allows the TV to reach levels of peak brightness that hadn't been possible before. The micro lens array is made up of a layer of micrometer sized convex lenses that sit on top of the pixels, and that maximizes the amount of light emitted. That doesn't just result in an overall brighter image, but better energy efficiency. And I think what surprised me the most were the viewing angles. Now at this point, I would say OLED as a whole is much more adopted, but if you've yet to use an OLED TV, one of the biggest benefits is the fact that each individual pixel is self-lit. So in the instances where there's black on screen, those are just off, which gives you the appearance of infinite contrast, and it's amazing. Now beyond that MLA panel, something else new inside here is LG's Alpha 9 AI processor Gen 6, which brings a handful of great things. One of the cooler things here is in the instance where you're watching something that maybe doesn't look the best or even sound the best. It could be an older YouTube video. Both AI Sound Pro and AI Picture Pro are going to help enhance things. One of the things that stood out for me is what LG is calling their HDR expression enhancer, which essentially does real-time HDR tone mapping and somehow makes things pop even more. With that Alpha 9 chip, what I kind of think ties everything together is a feature called Brightness Booster Max. And that allows things to be up to 70% brighter than previous models, which is no small feat. One note I do want to add though is with HDR and OLED TVs, it's not that the entire TV or image itself is just infinitely brighter to the point where it's like you're looking at the sun. It's the parts that need to be brighter that are brighter. And again, when you combine things with that contrast, that's why it's incredible. So when you combine all of those things together with the MLA panel, that's what makes it special. And for me, it is hands down the best HDR experience that I've got a chance to check out yet. Now diving a little deeper into HDR, if you've watched the channel before, you know I'm a huge fan, and more specifically, I am a huge fan of Dolby Vision, and this TV does not disappoint. For reference, upstairs we have an LG C1, which is an incredible TV, but side by side, the LG OLED evo G3 is night and day better, which is kind of surprising to say. It supports all flavors of HDR, including HDR10, Dolby Vision, and HLG, and the color reproduction is top notch. I would also go as far to say that I would absolutely use this as a reference monitor, which I've already started to do. Looking at something that was edited and color graded on a pro monitor that's much more expensive than this, it's kind of scary how close things are. Now, parallel to the image quality and all those fancy features, this is also running the latest version of WebOS 23, which has been my favorite tvOS for forever now. When it comes to TVs, I don't think you really talk about things being snappy or quick, but they absolutely are. So I gotta give credit to LG for performance here as well. This packs just about everything you could possibly want in terms of streaming apps. There's also built-in AirPlay and HomeKit, which is a nice touch. For the film and camera nerds out there, something that I appreciate is filmmaker mode. So what that does is it disables any post-processing or things that weren't intended to be there on the TV show or movie. So you're viewing things in its purest form, the way the filmmaker wanted you to. Beyond TV shows and movies, this is also an incredible TV for gaming because it checks just about every single possible box. It packs an ultra-fast 0.1 millisecond response rate. All 4 ports are HDMI 2.1, which gives you 4K at 120 Hertz, and you get all versions of variable refresh rates, like G-Sync, FreeSync, and HDMI VRR. So both the picture quality and the responsiveness look and feel incredible, and you really are getting a tremendous gaming experience. In this case, we have it hooked up to a PS5, which is kind of a dream combo. Things look incredible, things feel incredible, but beyond that, it's the little things that really take it over the top. With Game Dashboard and Optimizer, it gives you quick access to things like current frames per second, the low latency modes, and picture settings all with one click. So beyond PS5, this is going to be incredible for Xbox Series X, PC, or potentially if you just want to throw everything together because you have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, you can. I do also want to mention, while we do have this mounted on the wall and it's intended to be there, it will also work with a traditional stand, which looks great as well. But again, I think this is the way to go. So again, if you're looking for the ultimate TV experience that packs everything you possibly need, this has got to be it. If you've been eyeing an OLED TV for a while, this is probably the best time to grab one because everything new here makes a surprisingly big difference. Again, this does come in 4 different sizes: 55, 65, 77, and 83 inches. So depending on what you're looking for, I'll have a link to everything you could possibly need down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Jonathan, and I will catch you guys later.